I started my journey with music performance, going from choral music to British alternative. I have performed in various venues across the United Kingdom. From here, I went and studied music production, where I came across and used all of the main 3 digital audio workstations: Ableton, Logic Pro, and Pro Tools. I have dabbled in audio electronics, live sound, audio recording. I started audio programming with Maximus P and moved on to Juice during my final undergraduate project. This was my first coding project, and I have changed it from its original submission multiple times. The current version has 33 oscillators and allows you to change the wave shape. I then started my master's degree, where we looked at digital signal processing, audio psychology, machine learning, audio programming, music informatics, and deep learning for audio. I completed various projects for this degree, including filters, synths, drum machines, and digital instruments. In my spare time, I have dabbled with audio effects. Recently, I updated my former delay code. Here is the difference. Finally, here is a short overview of my master's thesis. I coded my project in C++ Juice using the framework for certain audio effects and my own implementation for others. Python was used for analysis of waveforms and collecting the results for the conclusion. I used CMake to compile my project and tested the code in the standalone application format. For audio tools, I used the Mel spectrogram analysis from iZotope RX9 audio editor and waveform analysis using a mixture of oscilloscope analysis from a website called Virtual Oscilloscope and Python matplotlib graph plots. I started my project focusing only on FFT manipulation, aiming to reproduce the intensity, experimenting by looking at the Mel spectrogram of the audio wave of real thunder and trying to mimic the frequency components used. With only FFT manipulation, the shape of the frequency components was still flat when using Python, so I used a function that creates a decay factor among all of the frequency components. The higher frequencies, the stronger the decay, and this results in the Mel spectrogram having reduced amplitude in the higher frequencies exponentially. A higher decay rate produced something similar to the Mel spectrogram of real thunder, and noticed a potential bias in the oscilloscope for the waveform of real thunder. I then decided to modify the white noise's shape to see if that made a difference. The difference it seemed to make was a decrease in overall frequency whilst preserving the lower end. Shifting the numbers in the probability box for the bias white noise wave did not seem to change the location that the amplitude reduction was applied. Analysis was then conducted with a mix of recording the wave file using Smart Recorder, getting the audio from Logic Pro X and bouncing it into a wave file, and generating the code in Python and analyzing it. Experimentation was done in Python throughout the project before going into C++. Libraries such as Skippy Librosa were used. Mel spectrogram and waveform were looked at. My project addresses the challenges identified from the background findings by emphasizing certain frequency components in the white noise signal. The downside of this is that I failed to hold on to other positive elements that were seen in previous models. The main negatives of my project practically were the artifacts seen in the Juice C++ generated code. The Python code was written aiming to mimic what was happening in the C++ code for better analysis, although it won't be 100% the same. Pitch distribution is where I would argue my model excelled. It's still off from what real thunder could produce, but could provide useful insight on potential techniques to get there. Towards the end of my project, whilst I was editing and summarizing all the data I received, I used Isotope RX9 audio editor to eliminate the artifacts in the sample 4 of the Basto Thunder models analyzed in the survey. The results were a massive improvement, further adding insight that my methods aren't completely pointless. Have a listen now.